I want to bring in our next guest. He is with ShopperTrak, Bill Martin, who came up with some of those numbers, joining us from Chicago. And Bill, what does that mean? You know, as we were talking about with Hitha, this 37% increase that we saw in last-minute shopping. Where does that set us for retail sales for not just this holiday season, but going into the first half?
Well, as you know, it's an important week for retailers as they begin to count the cash registers from the holiday season. And they did get some, last-minute gifts as shoppers, poured back into the store. We saw a 37% increase in sales from just the previous week. So that begins to be a normal run-up. And then the $44 billion ends up being a good contribution to the cash register. Now, we get this information by measuring 25,000 stores, the foot traffic that goes in and out of these stores, and then we estimate what the government's going to report in about 60 days.
But Bill, you were saying that oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
So you were saying that foot traffic doesn't necessarily equate to long-term sales. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, you can. So we need to think about what today's consumer is all about. We've got ample access to internet, and we have plenty of opportunity to do research. And so what we're seeing is the consumers using the online and the internet to do their research before they end up at the stores. So once they do end up in the stores, they're really predetermined to buy, and they're ready and looking for very specific items. And when they get there, if the retailer is willing to provide them with a good experience, then they should be able to convert those shoppers into buyers.
Bill, what about the deep discounts that we've been really talking about all week long that we saw during the holiday season? How's that going to affect the retailers and sales going into next year?
Well, we talked to some retailers earlier, and we knew that they had some pressure on, increased cost of goods and increased cost of transportation. And so when you see the deep discounts, that also puts some pressure on the ultimate margin that they gain. And so we know that they had to plan very carefully, but the good news is that when they were able to put out the appropriate discounts, is that they were able to get consumers to get off the couch and get into the stores. And we saw that in week 51, where we saw an ample number of customers come in, and they spent a good amount.
Bill, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Also to Hitha as well. Bill Martin, the ShopperTrak co-founder.